They say women are a mystery. But mystery is too soft a word, a lie wrapped in silk. What you feel when she turns cold for no reason. When the same lips that kissed you with devotion now curl in contempt, that isn't mystery. That's something else. Something darker. It's the flicker of a force you don't understand, a shifting in the shadows of her psyche, a withdrawal so primal it echoes through your bones like abandonment encoded in your DNA, and yet you say nothing. You smile. You chase. You rationalize. Because part of you believes she is reality, and you are just a man reacting to it. But what if you're not? What if the pain you can't name is not because you're weak or unworthy, but because you've been trained to see the female only as she appears, not as she is? And what if the truth isn't beautiful, but brutal, sometimes real, but often calculated, not out of evil, but survival? The modern woman, like the modern man, is not whole. She is fractured. And in that fracture lies the very thing no one tells you. We begin there. He's told he should be strong, but sensitive, dominant, but respectful, honest, but not too honest. Every instinct he feels is filtered through 1,000 eyes. Society, media, peers, her. Why she pulls you in, then pushes you away. You stop wondering if you're enough and start seeing the game for what it is. There's something deeply disorienting about the modern man's emotional landscape. You have to bury the myth of the pure, perfect woman, the internal Madonna your mother, your teachers, and your childhood wove into your flesh. He is not a man. He is a performance. And when that performance fails, when she leaves, when she cheats, when her warmth dies and her gaze drifts elsewhere, he blames himself. Or worse, he seeks to understand her, as if decoding her would save him from the fire. But here's the quiet heresy, how her mood can switch like weather in a dream. The subtle, almost reptilian urge to provoke, then retreat. These aren't quirks. These aren't just how women are. These are instincts. Unconscious, evolutionary strategies woven deep into the architecture of her psyche. And until you learn to see them, not judge, not fix, just see, you'll forever be a pawn on her board. She is not what she pretends to be. The softness, the empathy, the vulnerability, these are masks, her weaknesses, not the ones she cries about. The real ones, the ones she hides even from herself. You've felt them before. The strange satisfaction she gets from drama, the way she tests you without reason. This isn't about anger. This isn't about revenge. It's about awakening. Because when a man wakes up, the spell breaks. You stop asking why she lost interest, why she flirts with others but says she loves you. But to do that, you have to let go of the pedestal. You have to see her clearly. And that clarity, it cuts. Because behind the angel is the animal. And behind the animal is the void, the same void you carry. But while men are taught to face it, to fight, to build, women have learned to manipulate, to adapt, to hide. They speak of empowerment, but it's often fear in disguise. Fear of abandonment, fear of aging, fear of not being chosen. And so, she crafts illusions about herself, about love, about you. Not maliciously, almost biologically. She lies not to deceive you, but to preserve herself. And the man who doesn't understand this will forever be a servant to her chaos. She wants safety, but is aroused by danger. She craves emotional intimacy, but tests it to death. She wants strength, but shuns it when it threatens her power. These contradictions aren't flaws. They're signals. Signals of the underlying weaknesses no one talks about, because to speak them aloud would collapse the illusion. But you've already felt the cracks, in the silent spaces between her words, in the way she changes once she has you, in the way her empathy dies when her desire fades. You've seen the mask slip, and still, you asked what you did wrong. You bowed, begged, adjusted your essence to fit her chaos. Because deep down, every man carries a wound, the illusion that her love will heal him. But the truth is colder. You are not here to be healed by her. You are here to see her, and in seeing her, see yourself. Not the self approved by society, or desired by women. The raw self, the watching self. The self who knows. Because until you see the forces shaping her, the forces that she isn't even aware of, you will keep playing a game rigged from the start. You will confuse her trauma for tenderness, her manipulation for mystery, her tests for passion. She cries, and you call her soft. She withholds, and you chase. She wounds you, and you protect her. And worst of all, you will confuse her fear for femininity. This is the seduction of the feminine shadow. She cloaks her weakness in emotional drama, and you interpret it as depth. You are a man staring into the abyss of the feminine, and not looking away. But what if her weakness is not your responsibility? What if it's your mirror? Because the man who sees the hidden architecture of her psyche, the fear, the fragmentation, the hunger for validation beneath the mask, no longer needs her approval to validate his identity. And that terrifies her, because now you are the mystery. You have pulled back the curtain. You are no longer the child chasing mother love in a woman's body. And that changes everything. There is a moment in every man's life when he sees her not as a goddess, but as a fragmented psyche. Beautiful, yes, but stitched together with instinct, memory, and unmet desire. That moment either breaks him or awakens him. To see clearly, we must descend, not into hatred or blame, but into symbol. Because woman, as Jung taught, is not merely a gender. She is the anima, the living mirror of a man's inner world. She evokes, seduces, tests, withdraws. And through her, the man confronts his own chaos. The eternal feminine who will complete him, but what he's really falling in love with. And her weaknesses, the ones she masks in beauty, sensuality, or outrage, are not surface-level flaws. They are archetypal fractures. Is his own innocence, the child within him who still believes in unconditional love, who still believes that if he is good enough, she will stay. Evolution wired her to attach, to seek protection. In her unconscious, being left is death. So she clings, not always with words, often with tests, with sabotage, with coldness designed to provoke attention. She will test your patience, your boundaries, your devotion, not because she enjoys the drama, but because she needs to know you won't leave. Not for you, for the invisible gaze, the eternal audience. Social media is not just vanity. It is the ritualization of the feminine shadow's hunger to be seen. Why? Because stability feels dead. Her psyche, ruled by lunar cycles and deep waters, needs emotional charge. If there is no fire, she will create one. If there is no enemy, she will manufacture one. Her drama is not random. It is instinctual. A means of stirring her dormant feminine polarity in the face of your calm. Because if she's not seen, she vanishes. And this invisibility is her secret terror. She will never say it aloud, but it rules her behavior. The hunger for eyes, for affirmation, for proof that she still holds value in the sexual marketplace. Not because she is evil, because she is afraid. And in moments of pain, this envy becomes cruelty. The cutting remark, the silent treatment, the sexual withholding, the use of her body as currency. She may not even realize she's doing it, but she senses your weakness, and in testing it, she feels power. Not the power of love, the power of control. But here's the tragedy. Most men never make it past the projection. They fall in love with the fantasy, the illusion of safety she seems to offer. Because now she knows you won't leave, and her desire withers. And so he gives, protects, performs. He fails to see the darker forces animating her, the very ones that would unsettle his archetype of the nurturing mother. the innocent maiden, the wise muse. But the feminine psyche is not a sanctuary. It is a battlefield of hidden fears and manipulations, a labyrinth of wounds passed down through generations. Let's walk the edge of 10 of them, not as a list, not as an indictment, but as symbols, forces, shadows that haunt both her and you. First, the fear of abandonment. Every woman, no matter how strong she appears, is haunted by the ancestral memory of being left. Yet when you stay too long, too soft, too available, she resents you. Second, the lust for validation. She posts, she flaunts, she paints herself in artificial colors. Third, emotional volatility. She tells you she wants stability, peace, a good man. But when she gets it, she grows restless. She needs storms to feel alive, but she will punish you for causing them. Fourth, unconscious cruelty. There is a part of the feminine that resents the masculine, that envies his focus, his freedom, his power to detach. This is where the innocent man bleeds most. Fifth, sexual manipulation. Sex is not just pleasure for her. It is leverage, reward, punishment, affirmation. She learns early that her beauty is currency. Her body is a weapon. She may not think of it in such terms, but it is how she navigates power. She withholds when hurt. She offers when afraid. She uses intimacy not as connection, but as a bargaining chip. And the man who does not see this dynamic will forever confuse lust with love. Sixth, the mask of empowerment. She speaks of strength, independence, feminism. But often, it's a shield for rage. Rage at the men who failed her. Rage at the father who was weak, or absent, or controlling. Rage at the world for aging her, sexualizing her, ignoring her mind. She chooses men who hurt her, then complains about it. She leaves peace for danger. She recreates trauma to feel control over it. And when you offer calm presence, she may say she wants it, but she feels nothing. But what she wants, and what her unconscious selects, are often worlds apart. She chooses chaos, but asks for peace. She needs strength, but seduces weakness. Her mouth speaks logic, but her body chooses instinct. The feminine cannot be understood, only witnessed. The same way you witness a storm, a forest fire, a temple crumbling in silence. And this contradiction is not a flaw. It is the very nature of her being, fragmented, fluid, irrational, because her baseline for love is pain. And until that is rewired, nothing you do will feel enough. Stronger, superior. She says she wants equality, but she only desires those she perceives as above her. If she feels she has settled, her psyche begins to erode the bond. She resents you without knowing why. She picks fights. She withdraws sexually. And you, confused and loyal, will never see the primal algorithm rewriting her attachment. And beneath the mask of empowered woman is often a traumatized girl, terrified of being vulnerable again. So she armors herself in ideology, but the armor corrodes her ability to feel. And without feeling, she cannot bond. But they perform it, because that is what earns love. Inside, though, they may carry deep maternal wounds. They mother you, then punish you. They offer empathy, then retract it coldly. Because deep inside, they have not yet mothered themselves. Their inner child remains exiled, unheard, angry. And so they replicate the same emotional confusion they once experienced, now with you. Seventh, hypergamy. Her instincts are ancient. She is not drawn to what is fair or virtuous. She is drawn to what is better. Eighth, betrayal of the maternal archetype. Many women secretly resent the expectation to nurture, to be soft, to love unconditionally. Ninth, trauma bonding. She mistakes chaos for passion, toxicity for intensity. Her nervous system, wired by early relational wounds, feels alive in dysfunction. 10th, the illusion of self-knowledge. She believes she knows what she wants. She can articulate it, write it, demand it, but it terrifies her, because it means she cannot trust even herself. This is the hidden truth that haunts her. And you, because the more you try to understand her, the more lost you become. You do not tame it. You do not save it. You see it. And in seeing it, without judgment, without craving, you become the thing she secretly longs for, but fears the most. The unmovable man, the one who sees her weakness and does not flinch. There's a silence that comes after truth, not relief, not triumph, but a kind of grave recognition. This is where you are now. You've looked beneath the veil. You've seen the fractures in the feminine mask, not to condemn her, but to unchain yourself. And now something inside you is shifting, not into hatred, into sovereignty. Because once a man stops seeking her to complete him, he begins to reclaim what he gave away without realizing, the authority over his own soul, not even your desire. She wants to feel the immovable center in you that does not tremble under her storms. Because if you tremble, she cannot trust you. And if she cannot trust you, she will test you until you break, and then resent you for breaking. Understand this, and never forget it. A woman does not want to be pedestalized. She wants to feel you, not your words, not your promises. This is not cruelty. This is the unconscious language of polarity. The feminine is chaos disguised as beauty. The masculine is stillness disguised as presence. And when a man betrays that stillness, not even love can save him. It's not about learning how to control her, or decode her, or change her. That's the mistake most men make, believing they can win the game by playing harder. But the game ends the moment you stop needing to play. When you stop confusing her attention with your worth. When you stop mistaking her validation for your value. When you stop thinking love will save you from the quiet rot inside. Because it won't. No woman, no matter how beautiful, sensual, intelligent, or soulful, will heal what you refuse to confront in yourself. She can hold space, yes, but she cannot rebuild you. That is your work, your burden, your initiation. And it begins by seeing clearly, not just her, but yourself. Why do you chase the woman who wounds you? Why do you crave softness from the very one who cuts you? Why do you long for eyes that look through you? The answer is always the same. You are still looking for your mother in her body, still hoping that if you prove your love, she finally choose you, finally stay, finally make you feel whole again. But she won't, because she can't. No woman can be mother to your wounded boy and lover to your becoming man. That paradox will destroy both of you. In your gaze, in your awareness, you must choose. And in choosing, you must let die the part of you that still kneels before the altar of her approval. Let him die. Mourn him if you must. He was innocent. He wanted love. He tried to be good. But now it's time to become dangerous. Not violent, not cruel. Dangerous in your presence. A man who sees the feminine in all her beauty and terror and remains unshaken. A man who no longer chases what flees, nor clings to what fades. A man who knows and does not speak unless the world truly requires his voice. That kind of man is rare, and she will feel it. Not just her, everyone. The woman who plays games will fumble under your silence. The one who tests will find no leverage. The one who manipulates will sense something in you she cannot reach, and in that unreachable place, she will feel the very thing she's been unconsciously aching for. A man who is real. Not because he understands her, but because he no longer needs to. That is the power of clarity. And it only comes when you stop trying to rescue her and start remembering yourself. Because here's the truth that cuts deepest. What you thought were her weaknesses were never really about her. They were invitations, reflections of your own unconscious fragments, projections of your anima, echoes of your childhood wounds. Her chaos called to your control. Her coldness fed your insecurity. Her fire fed your hunger to be consumed. But now the mirror breaks, and what's left is you. So don't ask what to do next. Don't ask how to win with women, or understand them, or become high value. Those are still the questions of a boy begging for validation. The only real question is this: can you look into her darkness, the tests, the drama, the weakness, and not lose yourself? Because if you can, you've already won. Not her, yourself. And when you do that, when you embody that clarity, women respond in a different way. Not with games, but with surrender. Not because you demanded it, but because they can finally feel something in you that cannot be moved. And that is what they crave most. Even if they never admit it, this isn't the kind of video you forget. Because part of you already knew everything I just said. You felt it in the confusion, the shame, the obsession, the silence after she left. You knew, but no one ever gave you the language. Until now. Now the question is, what will you do with it? Will you forget, scroll, swipe, soothe yourself back to sleep? Or will you let it change you? Let it burn through the lies you've carried about love, about women, about yourself? Leave a comment, not for likes, but for truth. What did you see in her and in yourself? And if you're ready to keep diving into the hidden mechanics of desire, trauma, the anima, and the male shadow, subscribe. This is not for the masses. This is for the few, the ones who don't want comfort. They want clarity. Welcome to Erosos. We see what others won't, and we don't look away.